So let's just go and freeze the modeling on the hair so we have a nice clean hair object. Obviously we can go in here and further refine areas, clump things a bit more, clean things up. But really at this phase we're just concerned about the overall look of the hairstyle. And a lot of the fine tuning you can actually do through the hair property page. So for example, what we're going to do is let's go back to our hair PPG. I'm going to the effects tab. You can see we've got all these options on the frizz at root, frizz at tip. And what we should do is just set this to 10% and turn this on. And there we go. We've got those the render hair showing. What we want to do is really bring these down to 0 so we're not really seeing any of the special effects being added to the hair. We have just pure straight hair. And we can increase the number of segments. And this is something important at render time. You can see how the hair is smoothed out. So this actually is on the render hair. So you can see as I bring the segments down, we get a very faceted look. This is important to keep in mind when you're rendering, to keep this number as minimal as possible, because obviously the more segments you have, the more there is to compute for hair. So the hairstyle with 10 segments will take almost half as little time as to render with 20 segments. So what you want to do is keep it as minimal as possible. Good idea is just to bring it up slowly until you reach that point where the hair's got enough definition. But that's all you want to go to. So 23. Let's just keep that at 20 for now. And in this case we have quite long hair, so it's probably needed the higher number of segments. So the next thing I want to do is let's just go to the thickness, and right now I'm just going to increase the root thickness a little bit so we can see the hair a little clearer. And something that's kind of good to start off right away is to just go to the preset tab, and you can try a couple of the preset values. And what these are doing are basically setting options in the effects tab. So standard, this is the default ones. Slightly wavy, and you can always go back here and just bring up the number of hairs. Still keep it quite fast, the interaction, but enough to give you a good idea of where you're headed. So let's go back to slightly wavy. That's not too bad. Wave. And this is just to give you an idea of all the different hairstyles that you can create. And you can see the look is altering quite dramatically, and it's basically just by changing the kink and frizz and noise functions on the hair. Afro. So let's actually just go back to straight, and we're going to actually go on the effects tab and just look at, with playing with these sliders, what we're going to get. So the frizz at root is going to create kind of this bed head look a little bit. With quite large changes, and you can modulate the frequency down here of those changes. So as we bring that up, we can get the hair jittered a bit more to give it some texture. You can bring the frizz at tip also, so we get it spread out a little bit more. What I'm probably more concerned with is the kink, so I'm just going to bring these back down to 0. And let's just bring the kink up a little bit. And this is similar to the frizz, except I find it a bit more realistic in where you can get kind of nice, natural kind of curls like this, and little pieces of texture, which is, I don't know, a little more realistic I find for hairstyles. So what I can do here is just go maybe with the slightly wave preset. Or let's go with slight wave. Actually, that's not bad. And what we can do is just bring up the render hair percentage up a little bit higher. Something like that. And we can go to the effects. And if we want to just decrease the frizz a little bit, so it's not quite as kinky, something like that. That's not too bad just for a rough test.